Welcome to Health Caringness.
Your daily dose of health and wellness.
We're diving straight into something truly fascinating and, honestly, absolutely critical about our health that almost nobody is talking about. You see, right around the time we turn 60, our eyes begin losing this incredibly vital protective pigment, and it happens layer by layer, almost completely invisibly. There's no pain, no red flashing warning lights, just a slow, quiet thinning that eventually shows up as, blurry words on a menu or headlights that seem to literally explode in your vision when you're driving at night. But we're going to break down the exact science of how to stop this process in its tracks, using some phenomenal clinical insights from Dr. Franklin's research. So think about it for a second. Why do some folks hit their 80s with sharp, clear, practically youthful vision, while others are legally blind before they even reach 70? For the longest time, we've just chalked this up to genetics or maybe just bad luck. But as you'll see, the clinical research tells a radically different story.
The answer actually is almost entirely nutritional. And I don't just mean eating a generically good diet. It's about feeding the eye's overnight repair systems with highly specific, targeted nutrients. Our eyes do their most intensive cellular repair while we are fast asleep, and if they don't have the exact biochemical building blocks they need, the damage simply accumulates. So today, we're counting down 8 powerful, scientifically backed foods that provide exactly what those repair systems are begging for.
All right, let's kick things off with our foundational eye defenders.
We're starting our countdown at number 8, raw pumpkin seeds. As we age, the lens inside our eye, that's the transparent structure that actually focuses light, starts to lose its clarity. And the primary driver here is the progressive depletion of a mineral called zinc. Take Harold, for instance. He's a 67-year-old patient who added just 1 handful of raw pumpkin seeds to his evening routine. Within 3 months, his optometrist noted measurable improvements. You see, zinc acts like a molecular escort for vitamin A. It literally carries it through your bloodstream and deposits it straight into the retina, where it's converted into a protective pigment called melanin. Without zinc, your retina just can't absorb vitamin A, no matter how much of it you eat. And since pumpkin seeds are the most zinc-dense whole food on the planet, they make an absolutely essential evening snack.
Coming in at number 7, we have Tart cherries. Now, you probably hear melatonin and immediately think of a sleep aid, right? Well, it turns out the retina actually contains its own melatonin receptors. Melatonin is one of the most powerful antioxidants your body produces, and your eye tissue heavily depends on it to neutralize free radical damage from all that daily light exposure. Tart cherries happen to be the highest natural food source of plant-derived melatonin. So drinking a little tart cherry juice before bed deepens your slow-wave sleep, which gives your retinas the critical time and the exact antioxidant surge they need to finish their repair work. Okay, look at this massive number, a 1,200% increase. This brings us to food number 6, which is avocados. The most important eye protective compounds are fat-soluble, meaning if you eat a big salad full of protective greens but don't include any fat, your body absorbs nearly 0 of those nutrients. Scratch that, it basically is 0. But simply adding half an avocado to your dinner multiplies your absorption of zeaxanthin, which is a crucial eye-protecting compound from other foods, by over 1,200%. Plus, avocados are packed with vitamin E, which protects the lens of your eye from UV-induced oxidative stress. Moving right along, let's look at our next tier, the macular and vascular shields. Coming in at number 5, we've got dark leafy greens. But to really grasp why they matter, we need to talk about the macular pigment. This is essentially a living biological filter right in the center of your retina, and it's responsible for sharp, detailed vision. Think of it like built-in sunglasses that absorb damaging blue light and neutralize free radicals. Dark greens like kale, spinach, and colored greens are packed with lutein, and that is the exact compound your eye uses to build this fortress-like pigment. But here is a major catch. You might be eating salads every single day, but if you're eating your spinach raw, you are really missing out. The protective lutein molecules are locked away inside tough plant cell walls. By just lightly cooking your dark greens in a little olive oil, you break down that cellular matrix. It's a simple step, but it makes the lutein up to 4 times more bioavailable than eating it raw. Next up at number 4, we have walnuts. Your retina is fed by this incredibly delicate network of microscopic blood vessels. As we get older, inflammation and oxidative stress cause these tiny vessels to stiffen up, essentially starving the eye of oxygen. Walnuts interrupt this whole process on multiple levels. They provide alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA, to dial down the systemic inflammation that damages vessel walls.
But even more impressively, they contain ellagic acid, which actually protects your retinal ganglion cells. Those are the nerve cells transmitting visual signals straight to your brain from apoptosis, which is just a fancy word for cellular death. Simply eating a handful of walnuts in the evening helps keep those critical neural connections totally alive and healthy. Okay, we've made it to the really exciting part. Let's dive into the top 3 restorers, where the science gets truly extraordinary. Our number 3 food is turmeric, specifically its active compound, curcumin. Curcumin is amazing because it can cross the blood-retinal barrier to suppress neuroinflammation. That's a major driver of macular degeneration, where overactive immune cells inside the eye actually begin destroying healthy tissue. But there's a problem. Curcumin has terrible bioavailability on its own. However, by simply adding a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper to your turmeric, a compound called piperine disables a specific digestive enzyme, rocketing the curcumin's absorption up by a staggering 2,000%. And putting that science into practice is incredibly simple with a nice golden milk recipe. By warming up some milk, stirring in your turmeric and black pepper, and maybe adding a little cinnamon and raw honey, you are delivering that neuroinflammation suppressing curcumin in a fat-soluble medium directly to your retina. Drinking this about 45 minutes before bed acts like a nightly reset button for your retinal immune system while you sleep. Now, for our number 2 food, we have to make a massive distinction. Wild blueberries, not the regular cultivated ones you usually see in the plastic clamshells at the store, are an absolute necessity here. They just are not nutritionally equivalent. Wild blueberries grow in harsh, nutrient-poor soil under extreme weather conditions. So, as a biological defense mechanism, they produce up to 3 times more protective anthocyanin pigments than cultivated blueberries. When you eat them, you are absorbing that exact same robust biological defense. Just look at Eleanor's amazing success story. It perfectly proves the power of those wild anthocyanins. As we age, a protein in our eyes called rhodopsin regenerates much more slowly. That's exactly why older adults often get that sort of temporary blindness when walking from bright sunlight into a dark room. The anthocyanins in wild blueberries have been clinically shown to accelerate rhodopsin regeneration by up to 58%, completely transforming Eleanor's ability to adapt to low-light environments. And finally, the undisputed number 1 food for eye health, raw cacao. It is absolutely vital that you use raw cacao powder and completely avoid Dutch processed cocoa. Dutch processing uses an alkalizing treatment that destroys up to 90% of the crucial flavonols. Yes, raw cacao might be a bit more bitter, but honestly, that bitterness is the exact signal that those potent, life-changing flavonols are still fully intact. So here is how you do the nightly raw cacao ritual. Stir 1 tablespoon of raw cacao powder into some warm almond or oat milk, and, here's the secret trick, add a pinch of cayenne pepper. Drink it 30 to 45 minutes before sleep. Why the cayenne? Because it dilates your blood vessels. Combined with the specific flavonols in raw cacao that directly stimulate nitric oxide production in your blood vessel walls, you get a massive vasodilation effect. This dramatically increases oxygen delivery and blood flow directly to your optic nerve exactly when it needs it most. George's outcome is a phenomenal clinical testament to this. He had progressive glaucomatous damage, meaning his optic nerve was slowly dying due to a lack of blood flow and high pressure. By making this exact raw cacao protocol the centerpiece of his evening routine, his ophthalmologist documented that after 18 months, his optic nerve had stopped actively deteriorating. It literally halted the progression of his visual field loss in its tracks. Incredible, right? Let's pull all of this together into your nightly repair routine. Because knowledge is really only power if you know how to use it. I highly recommend taking a quick screenshot of this cheat sheet. It organizes all 8 protective foods, from the zinc in pumpkin seeds and the lutein in cooked greens, all the way to that massive nitric oxide boost from raw cacao. Most importantly, it outlines the critical rules for when and how to consume them to unlock their maximum retinal repair potential. Consistency with these specific preparations is exactly what yields these life-changing clinical results. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this thought. Your eyes are the precious lens through which you experience every single moment of this beautiful world. Knowing what you know now, what simple change are you going to make tonight to protect them?
Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time and support.